Hello, everyone. Well, it looks like what we're doing is having some sort of reaction. ULTY, now, is ULTY's goose cooked? Let's have a look at it and see what's going on. So, this morning I got a message from Blue Sonic UK, and he basically said Yield Max website states that ULTY's latest distribution is 40.76% return of capital and 59.24% income. Now, this goes contrary to what Jay Pestrucelli said on YouTube and what the company was stating, which is a 100% return of capital. And as a pensioner, I found this was not exactly what was going on. So I looked at my accounts, showed that the entire sum that it was being distributed was being taxed at 15%. And so I called up, we discussed it, we wrote up a few tickets, and the latest is a letter of inquiry that went to the transfer agent for YieldMax, which is US Bank Corp. And lo and behold, I went on ULTY's website, and clearly listed here is that the most recent distribution for August 8th, 2025 contains 40.76 return of capital and 59.24% income. This is extremely disconcerting. Number one, as a pensioner or as an investor in general, you want consistency. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not an accountant. I'm just a pensioner. However, I did go to university and I went for a specialist in economics, a major in business commerce, a minor in engineering, and a minor in political science. I used to be pretty smart, but then I had a massive stroke about 10 years ago, and then it left me disabled, and I fell down some stairs and got hemorrhage and brain damage. So I'm not 100% all the time. You know what I mean? It's hard. I take medication. But being a pensioner, the day is long. I'm also a widower. My wife passed away. And, I'll get into that another time. But right now, it's a long day. So for example, I go into, there's over 100 pages of YieldMax's financial statements. And the latest statement that I could see on their website, you have to be a soothsayer or some sort of fortune teller, witch doctor, I don't know what you call it, because it's a hodgepodge, it's a mess. Now, Cohen and Company, I think that's the name. Like I said, I'm trying my best. I might not get everything right, so take it with a grain of salt. It's all over the place. As an investor, you need consistency. I invest in a lot of different things. Like I was mentioning, in my registered retirement savings plan, nothing gets taxed. Nothing gets taxed until the day you take it out. So, whatever they want to call it, whatever company it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't get taxed. The US and Canada have a tax treaty that omits retirement plans, registered retirement plans. Now, in Canada, we also have another registered account, which is called a TFSA, or a tax-free savings account. And it does what it says it does. It's tax-free. You can, within the guidelines, put money in, take money out, do what you want with it. It's a tax-free savings account. So when Jay Petrocelli went online and said ULTY is a 100% return of capital, and that taxes are deferred, and that's part of their strategy, to defer taxes into the future, I thought, well, let's check it out, right? It's been a little over a month that I've been investing in ULTY and YieldMax funds. So when I got my first distributions, because ULTY is a weekly payer, I noticed out of my TFSA, they were taking taxes. Well, how can you take taxes from something that's 100% return of capital? So I called up my brokerage several times. We finally got them to understand, and they sent a letter of inquiry to the transfer agent for YieldMax, which is US Bank Corp. Now, all of a sudden, it doesn't say 100% return of capital. It says 40% return of capital and 60% income. What happened? That's not consistent. Consistency is expected part of the prospectus, right? Your fiduciary responsibility is to your shareholders, fund holders, and this is out of whack. This is some cockamamie, crazy, in my opinion. This is the Wild West show. In my brokerage account, in my taxable account, in Canada we have, I don't know how it is in the United States, but in Canada we have, when you're receiving a pension, the government allows you to make up to $6,400 without it affecting your pension. So the easiest way to do it, because I physically can't do anything. So it's not like I can go get a part-time job or anything like that. So I use dividends to supplement my income. And so I'm very careful, and this is why I mean consistency is important, because I'm very careful to stay under that $6,400 threshold, right? It doesn't make any sense if $6,400 is your threshold and you make $7,000, that extra $600 comes off of your pension, so you're not making anything. Do you understand that? These people at YieldMax obviously don't understand, in my opinion, what a fiduciary responsibility is. They have a responsibility to be good custodians of our money, of our investment. So what's going on here, I couldn't tell you, but I will say this. I'm very happy that I sold out of most. I still own 52 of the 53 ETFs that YieldMax offers, but at a much, 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 much reduced amount. I've mentioned it in previous videos that I'm only holding enough to see how the taxation works. Because let's say, for example, they say 100% return of capital, like they used to say. And it's $100, and they withhold $15 or 15%, then I know that's wrong right away. However, if they say 50-50, 50% return of capital, 50% yield, income, then of the $15, $7.50 is non-taxable, and the other $7.50 is taxable. So then I can calculate in the 52 weeks that I will hold this fund, it will generate $7.50 times 52, and I'm well below the 6,400. Now, obviously, we all think the same. I want to get as close to 6,400 without exceeding it. But I can't do that if you're all over the map on what's considered return of capital and what's considered income or yield. So on their website, they have their financials, and it's over 100 pages. You got to go through it line by line. It's like a mishmash of, you have to be some sort of shaman or soothsayer or a fortune teller to make heads or tails of this stuff. Cohen and Company, I believe, is the accountant responsible for the paperwork, for the documents. Who are they? I don't know, but they're an accredited firm, and I'm hoping they're doing everything right. The disconnect is between YieldMax and their transfer agent, US Bancorp. Now, with this sudden change from 100% return of capital to a mixture of return on capital and yield or income, it makes it very hard to plan your financial future. I'm going to try to dig into it once my disbursements come. Like I said, it's Friday today, and the disbursements are going out today. And when I receive them, because I bought them all in my non-registered account. And why did I buy them all in my non-registered account? Simply because all taxes are applicable. In a non-registered account, a normal brokerage account, all taxes are applicable. So when the transfer agent, US Bancorp, sends me the distribution, I can then check to see of the amount of the distribution, how much is the withholding tax. Then I can go back onto YieldMax website and see how they calculated what percentage for return of capital and what percentage for income or yield. Then on Monday, if there's any discrepancies, I can call up my brokerage, fill out a ticket, and go through the whole process again. Now, there are 52 ETFs that I mentioned before from YieldMax that I purchased, and I'm going to be checking out. Some are weekly, some are monthly, so it's going to take some time. However, in my investigations, there are some that are predominantly yield. And it's weird because it's like anywhere between 1 and 99% return of capital and anywhere between 1 and 99% yield configuration. Like I said, it's all over the place. You got to be some sort of shaman or diviner to divine out what's going on. And if they're that inconsistent, then I don't want to have anything to do with YieldMax. Consistency is incredibly important because a lot of people, like, okay, when you're young, I went through Black Monday, which is the stock market crash of 1987. I went through the dot-com bubble, which was in 2000. I went through the great financial crisis, which was 2008, 2009. I went through the problem we had in 2020. So I know there's fluctuations in the market. The market's higher now than it was in 1987, in the year 2000, in the year 2008, and in the year 2020. Market goes up, and it's just the amount of money that's being invested through people's retirement plans. Because when I started working, there was very, very few, unless you were in a union, companies that had a retirement plan. But as you go through life and things change, and now there's a lot of money coming in from retirement plans that are boosting the stock market. And I have pretty good faith in the United States economy and Canadian economy and the world in general. Yeah, there's problems here and there, but overall, I mean, the end of the world's been coming since the extinction of the dinosaurs. Still here. The world is still here, and that's a good thing. So, as it pertains to all the funds in EOMax, I personally, from what I see now, I'm going to get out of it. I don't see any. There's a few that I'm interested in because of the scope that they're undertaking and where they're investing. But in general, overall, you would have to be the most optimistic person in the history of mankind to invest in this fund and expect them to be around in the future. I personally don't see it. There's an innate amount of issues that have to be overcome. And since I bought ULTY, it's gone from $6.30 to under $6. And if you sum up all their distributions, you're just barely ahead a little bit. And depending where you bought it, right? Stability, consistency is the most important thing that you need to think of. Yeah, okay, look. If you want 5% of your, and that, again, not a financial advisor, but if you want to go to the casino, the YieldMax casino, and take 5% of your money, so you got 100%, see, this is the way I look at it. So I have 100% of my money that I think is secure. Doesn't necessarily mean it is, but let's say it is. And I receive on average 10%, right? So if you had $1 million or 100, let's say 100,000, because there's more people that would have 100,000 than $1 million. And you're going to make 10% on that in dividends for the year. So that's $10,000. If you want to take 5% of your fund, which is $5,000, and buy the craziest shit stuff, the craziest stuff I gotta watch, I don't know, every once in a while something slips out, but so if you want to invest $5,000 in just casino lottery tickets, because the remaining 95,000 is going to get you 9,500 back, you can't do really much damage to yourself. You look, if you hit a home run, great for you. If you blow your stones, okay, you made it back with the rest of your fund, and you still come up 4,500 ahead. That I don't mind. But as a pensioner, I can't do that. I can't willy-nilly place a bet on a three-legged horse. It's just not going to win the race. So what I see now, and the strategy change, or did it happen because the inquiry that my brokerage sent to transfer agent US Bank Corp, and US Bank Corp contact YieldMax, and then all of a sudden everything changes? Or is it something else? I don't know. And when I don't know something, I get scared. I get scared because I'm not, when 1987 happened, I was like 20 something, 21, 22, something like that, 23, I don't know. I have my whole life ahead of me. If I made a mistake, it was on me. When 2000 happened, that hurt. That hurt. Then I was in my mid to late 30s, and my whole life wasn't as much ahead of me as it was when I was in my 20s. When 2008 happened, it didn't hurt me at all. I was into other things and trying something new. And my wife passed away December 25th, 2005. I was raising my 3 kids myself and working. It was more, I didn't have time to research. So I really didn't do much damage to myself during the great financial crisis. Then in 2020, that hurt a little bit, but I saw something coming, and I can explain it another time. This is not the time for it. But now, I'm over 60, and I'm on my pension. I can't afford a mistake. Like, I mean, everybody can afford a little bit of mistake. Like if you bought ULTY at $6.40, and now it's whatever, $5.90. I mean, it hurts, but as long as you didn't invest much, you'll survive. However, where's this going to go? There are so many things that can go wrong. I personally cannot take the chance. And this is not financial advice. It's pure entertainment. Was that what you got to say? Pure entertainment? But talking to you, one-on-one, I'd be very careful. That's my advice. Be very careful. Research the heck out of it. And until I get my disbursements, I really can't do anything right now, because the latest iteration of ULTY's distributions doesn't say 100% return of capital anymore. And that can be affecting a lot of people's tax brackets, pension outcomes. There's a lot going on. I hope everything works out for you, and that please investigate, research, do your due diligence, and I wish you all the best. See you next time. Once my distributions come in, I'll start pounding the numbers. All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.